Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks, how to get it just right. I am super excited for you to meet my guest today. And most importantly, because he embodies what Goldilocks and her message is all about. How do we build a business and a society around it so that we help not just the business get it just right, but everybody who's engaged in the business, how do they get it right? How do we build a community and a society right around it so that the society gets to do it just right? And how do we create a self-healing ecosystem that truly nurtures all the stakeholders and creates opportunities for everybody around? And to have this very, very timely conversation with me is a dear friend and a client, Brian Murdock, CEO of All World Communications Group. Brian, welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks.
Thank you so much for having me, Cass.
You and I met because we were advisory board members for a not-for-profit, and we got involved and got to know each other through philanthropic work. And what I have seen you do and the things that we are doing together truly is amazing. I want you to take a moment and walk us through how you got to a point where you're taking a business, a innovative business idea, and combining it with a foundation and giving to create a self-healing ecosystem so that everybody who's engaged has a shot at getting life just right.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we own a technology company that's really based in solving complex problems for companies, but using technology with that. I fancy myself a problem solver, and I saw a lot of problems from the communities that I came from, and just heard a lot of conversation of there's just not a lot of skilled work. There's not a lot of skilled workers. There's not a lot of people that are available for these jobs. Because I grew up in the inner city, I know that there are a number of people that are there that, for whatever reason, are not introduced to these jobs. And as the middle class shrinks more and more every year, because we don't have manufacturing, because we don't have a lot of these jobs, these steel jobs, these things that essentially really drove America to be America. There's a hole there. And I think as that hole gets larger, the schism with people gets larger, as we see happening now. A lot of people feel like the haves and the have-nots. You have people right now that are making $40,000, $50,000 that are still living paycheck to paycheck. And so I believe that what we're doing right now is creating something where we not only train children, youth, I keep saying children, youth, in skills that don't necessarily need a college education, but do have a large need in America, whether that be technology, support engineering, technical work, and then the skills of sales and marketing. And that translates to pretty much every single industry, because I've been in my business for 20 years, and so many clients, they do not have a baked in marketing plan. They just kind of go by the seat of their pants to get clients. They don't really have a dialed in sales team. It's just figuring it out. So if we can create that from the inner city, we can impact not only these kids, but we can impact their families and the communities as well as these cities that we serve.
Beautiful, beautiful initiative. I absolutely love your vision, and which is why I got involved in partnering with you.
Thank
And
you.
what truly is amazing is you're taking cutting edge initiatives that are relevant to today's marketplace, right? So can you talk about the various divisions within All World Communications and what kind of exposure young people are going to get in order to get trained. And then not only do they get trained, then they get onboarded with the organization. So you're creating your own pipeline to give people opportunity that didn't even know these opportunities existed.
Correct. So All World Communications Group consists of All World Communications, which was our initial entity. We were an Avaya business partner. I shouldn't say we were. We still are an Avaya business partner. And for people that don't know Avaya was Lucent Technologies, and prior to Lucent Technologies was AT&T. So it is the phone system company that at one point 75% of Fortune 500 companies had on their desk. So that is that company where we still do a lot of telecom, but also we do a lot of multifamily construction. So pulling the physical cable, pulling the fiber, terminating fiber. Then we have All World Protection. All World Protection is a company that does exactly what you would expect it to do. Does security cameras. So anything to protect your business, security cameras, access control. We also have an AI that is part of that. We are looking at possibly adding on something else that we'll talk about later on down the line, but it may be a physical security piece. And then the last piece of that is All World Internet, and All World Internet does voice over IP. We do SIP trunking. We do managed services. For years, we helped manage Brookfield Properties network, both in San Francisco, here in LA. And so those are the three entities. And as we build it out, we have the ability, we do internet for events, but the impetus of it being created was the digital divide. And so we wanted to go into these cities and actually provide internet to the underserved neighborhoods because of COVID. My stepmother does procurements for KIP, and told me that this has always been a problem of kids not having access to internet. It's just COVID shined a light because a lot of kids that were not Black didn't have internet as well. So now everyone knows. So now it's okay. So how do we actually go solve this problem?
So I'm glad you brought this up, Brian, because it is not a racial divide.
No.
It is an income and class divide. And politicians tend to paint it as a racial scenario, but it truly is an income and class scenario. And as we enter the space and you're training young people on telecom, on security, on internet, voice over IP, and eventually understanding of AI and integrating AI for business security and home security, it's a fascinating world that is continuously emerging. Where do you see the opportunities for young people? You recruit out of school. How does that whole process look like? You're already in training for the new batch. So talk to us a little bit about it.
Correct. So currently, we have our first cohort that started 2 weeks ago. We partnered with a large developer here in Los Angeles, Solar Impact, as well as one of the oldest workforce development companies here in LA called the Brotherhood Crusade. We're going to go and find these youth wherever they are. That's the easiest way to explain it, because I believe that they're not just sitting there waiting. You have to actively engage. Just like when we market to go and find clients, we need to market and go and find these youth that are there that don't know that these opportunities exist. Yes, we are blessed to be able to have a beautiful facility that Sola has. We are blessed to have the kids that Brotherhood Crusade brought over through their workforce program. But our goal is to do this not only at Solar Impact, but to do this in multiple cities, multiple towns, multiple states. And so it's going out and actively showing these youth the opportunities that are available to them in technology.
Mm-hmm. And I can actually envision training them, giving them employment, and then down the road, encouraging them to go and get those degrees and rise up to become entrepreneurs and become business partners. So this is not just a initial step you're doing. You have an entire vision for long term to staying with these young people and truly helping them build that long term vision for themselves and their families.
That is correct. That is correct. I actually had when I first envisioned this, and I could call it download when it was downloaded to me. I spoke with someone from Western Governors University. And so I wanted to give them the opportunity to go through our training program, to start their career path, but then also to be able to get hands-on training on the job, as well as be able to get a bachelor's degree, because we understand that for most people, that once you have that bachelor's degree, people just look at you differently in the employment market. So if they decide that they want to continue to be an employee, that is, it's open. The reality is most people that are going to go through our program successfully, we want to be able to offer them employment with one of the all world companies, as well as the companies that we partner with. We have a number of developers that are signing MOUs with us. We have a number of other companies that are in other technology fields and marketing fields where those kids could also have careers. So we want to give them the ability to make their decision. Because right now, if you think about it, their options are, okay, I'm going to be in a gang. I'm going to be a stick-up kid. I'm going to rob people. Or now I've got, okay, I can go in sales. I can go into marketing. I've now made money from the time that I was 17 to 21. I can actually go out and do exactly what Dr. Cass said. I have the money to go to college. And now me going to college doesn't seem like something that's out of this world, because I have met all of these other people and I've seen people come through the program in my city and they have found success.
So not only are you in the process of busting the digital divide, you're busting the economic divide and you're busting the gender divide. What is your vision of bridging the gender gap of women getting into this space?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So I actually had a young lady, Dr. Taisha Noyes, is the architect of the All World Communications Group Dream Seed program. And we are very, very big and very high on women doing this as well. This cohort, for whatever reason, only has one young lady, but she's extremely bright. And I know that she can do whatever she decides that she is going to want to do. But there are a lot of relationships that we have. We have relationships with the WNBA, have relationships with the NBA, where a lot of kids think about sports and they only think about the people playing the sports, but they don't think about the other side. Analytics is a huge piece right now. So you think about sports analytics, and as much as people don't get it, but women are far ahead most of the time than guys in math. And so these are the things that are available for them. If a woman wants to come in and they want to be a support technician, support engineer, they want to pull cable, that's available as well. But there's so many other things that are free. Understanding AI, understanding how to do models. A lot of people don't know right now, but you can use ChatGPT to help with code. So as they're learning to code, you can still use that as well.
Mm-hmm. And I love what I'm hearing, and I know the audience are going to be very curious about when this program is going to come into their city. How do they get the youth in their community involved? Because it makes the community safer. It makes the neighborhood safer. When young people have something to look forward to and they have dreams that are realizable, then all of a sudden we create an ecosystem that is fun, exciting, and vibrant. So what is your vision in terms of taking these initiatives that you're doing in the state of California and bringing it to other states? I'm in Chicago. I would love to see something like this in Chicago, because inner city of Chicago needs this. We have so many different ethnic communities looking for opportunities.
Yes, ma'am. Well, as you know, I moved to LA from Chicago, and it's the thing that is the question that people ask me for years because of the shootings in Chicago that happen so frequently. They ask me, Brian, how are we going to fix this? Brian, how are we going to fix this? And my brain kept processing, how do we fix this? And the way that I believe fixing it is you create these pathways, but these pathways are not, and there's nothing against higher education. For me, there's nothing against that because those all serve a purpose. Everyone has their own path. But what I believe has happened is these kids that have an ITT Tech, a DeVry, a UEI, they go to these places and they teach them. They teach them these skills, which is great. But what they don't teach them is how to modulate their emotions, how to create the world in their minds that they want to live in. How do they go out and actually interact with these people that have these jobs? They have this skill, but they don't have the interpersonal communication skills. So those are the things, Dr. Cass, that we're doing as well. How are we going to roll this out in other cities is what you're asking. It's so very important. It's not just rolling it out to the cities. I've been in communication with a number of faith leaders in LA because I believe that's where it starts, is getting faith back into people's lives, is understanding that there is a higher power, and it doesn't need to be Christianity, doesn't need to be Judaism, doesn't need to be Islam. I know right now people are at ends because of the things that are happening in the Middle East. But for me, these are a lot of people problems. These are not religion problems. So if we look at people as people and we let them know that if you dream and believe bigger, then you can have whatever that you dream and believe. Whatever it is, you have to put the work in, but you can have it. And so we're going to work with these people, and we're going to go out. The goal was LA first, and then we were going to go to the Bay. And then from there, we were going to work our way east. So that is still the goal. So we have relationships with Houston. We have relationships with Chicago, relationships with Indianapolis, in the DMV, Baltimore. So that is the first 2024 is going to be the West Coast, and then we're going to work our way east.
That is such a brilliant plan. And I am sitting here thinking analytics, AI, digital communications, and the infrastructure, all of this is the future. This is hands-on work. This is hands-on opportunity. And once young people have a way of making money, they can put themselves through school. They can earn themselves scholarships. So all the other opportunities open up. And a conversation you and I have always had is education is the great leveler. And if we can show the young people a way and give them the opportunity to make an income, then they catch the bug and they get excited. And as you say, they're going to dream big and they're going to walk down that path to make their dream a reality. And I love the fact that you're bringing the spirituality in. I have seen so many people, even the ones who have a good income, live a wealthy life, if they don't have a spiritual connection, there is something missing in their life. They don't feel anchored. They're always looking for that elusive something, and they're always chasing. Whereas when people have spirituality in their life, they're manifesting. They have this positive mindset, and things come to them because they know how to attract it. So developing a whole person with employment opportunity is such a brilliant strategy. And it comes from a place of caring. So take a few minutes and talk about, where did you get this ability to take business and innovation and combine it with humanity? because not many people can do it, and not many people even know how to bring the two together.
I wish I could take credit for it. I really do. But it is not from me. When I call it the download, and a lot of people will that resonate with that will talk about having downloads. It is born from my parents. My father was an entrepreneur. They are both from Arkansas, my mother and father. My mother passed, unfortunately, but they are both highly intellectual. My mother was the most caring, and I don't even know how to explain how amazing she was. I tell people she was a saint. And so she always taught us it doesn't matter who people are, where they're from, anything. You always treat them with kindness. We are human beings, and being human is what's the most important. And so treating people as people. And so when you have that instilled in you, when you have that everyone has the ability to go out and work and make a living, that's what Calvin Murdock gave us. So if you have those two things and you say, hey, well, if you give these people a vision of what is available and you show them the right way to work, then guess what? They will work, because humans are striving beings. We want for things. I was explaining to someone about why humans gamble. They're gambling because internally we want to bet on something. And I always tell people, well, bet on yourself. Because if you bet on yourself, it's the best bet in the world. And I will continually bet on myself, and I will continually bet on these kids that go through our program. I've told them they are the foundation, and they are going to prove to the world that there is no limit whatsoever.
Such a powerful, powerful vision. And I am so honored to be a part of this journey, Brian. How can people get a hold of All World Communication? Share with us the best way to contact you and All World Communication, and then I'm going to open it up for a live audience conversation.
No problem. You can find me on social media, official Brian Murdock. You can find All World Communications at allworldcommunications.com, allworldprotection.com, and allworldinternet.com.
Thank you so much, Brian. Robin and Precious, thank you so much for joining us today as part of our Goldilocks community. Any thoughts, questions as you hear this wonderful vision that is going to make a huge impact in our society? Go ahead, Precious.
Well, I'm so excited. I was just moving in my seat over a lot of things, but I knew the answer. When you asked him, where did this come from? I knew it came from way long ago, some seeds that somebody planted. I already knew. I already knew. So that is no secret. There was somebody in your past um, when you didn't even know you were learning who was implementing in you what's humanity, how to treat people. It's a given. It's so powerful with the space I have with early childhood. So much of who we are, if not almost everything, happened a long time ago, and you were fortunate to have good people, and they're shaping the world now through you. But what else stood out to me? I'm looking because I made a note. I love the part about the communication skills, the spiritual component definitely as well. But learning skills is necessary, but you have to interact in the world of people with those skills. So if you only know those skills, but you don't have the ability to communicate effectively with others, it hinders you. So I appreciate the bigger picture of that. And I'm able to see how, because of the humanity approach that you have to business, it impacts so many areas, the social emotional components of learning that children or youth are a part of. Um, it's amazing, and I'm just so grateful that this is being activated. And I will say, I'm down here in the deep, dirty South, but Louisiana, places
Yes,
like
ma'am.
that, they need it too. So it's just great to be aware of something that is making a difference and shift shaping our children, and because I'll say this in close, talent is innate, but we still need skills to carry it on. So it's not like you're just getting people that are, you're digging up out of a ditch type thing. People are brilliant. They need a space to showcase that. They need a level to develop that. It's not like you're getting the bottom of the crust and just trying. No, you're getting people that society has marginalized based on, whatever factors, and you're giving them an opportunity. You're undoing some of what has been done, because this would not exist if they had not been created, these divides. So addressing it in such a practical and loving way, it's phenomenal. So I'm grateful to you, and I'm grateful to your parents and everybody who was a part of that life that supported this vision and coming about. Thank you. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes.
Always
Thank
fun
you,
to be
Precious.
here and good to see you, Precious. And I love what you're doing, because not everybody is interested in going to a four-year college and getting a degree from there. They're just not, they're just not the ones to sit down and read a book for 10 hours a day. And yet they have so much to contribute to society, and our society needs them. And so I'm loving what you're doing. My question is, the youth that you have connected with on this initiative, or I realize you're rolling this out in 2024. Is that right? So it hasn't started yet?
No, ma'am. We started in Los Angeles already.
Oh, you are? Okay. I live in LA, so we'll have to connect. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So how have the youth responded to this when you present to them this opportunity? What has been their response in a positive way? And then what have been some of their hesitations or their
Apprehension.
Yeah, apprehensions. Yeah.
I love that you asked that question. I love even more that you're in LA. I'm going to answer it here, but I'm going to have you write that question down, because I want you to ask it to them so you get their unfettered response.
Right.
Because what we are doing is coming from the heart. This is a real program. The four of us know that programs happen nationwide every day. But when a program is built with real intention behind it, they can feel it. So they started off our program reading the 4 agreements, and not just reading the 4 agreements, us going over the 4 agreements and us understanding each other's view of what that meant. And so I had one of the kids who's been in programs since he was 12 years old. He's now 21. And I asked him, so what do you think? He was like, this is one of the 2 programs that I have been in since I was 12 that I actually believe is going to change my life. So that's what this makes me feel like. This is a real thing, and we're not just changing their lives. We are going to, in my opinion, change the trajectory of America. And that's what matters to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Fabulous. I love it. Love it.
Yes,
We'll totally connect. We'll connect offline.
Yes, ma'am.
I cannot wait, Brian, for you to directly connect with Precious and Robin, 2 women I truly value and cherish, and my co-authors from our last anthology. So yes, women who are making a huge impact at the world. And Brian, I am so honored once again to be a part of this journey, to know you, to work with you, and bring this vision to life. In closing, if you were to leave everybody with one nugget to take for themselves and their families into their world starting today for the week ahead, what would that be?
I would probably hit on what Precious said. All of us are born with talent. All of us are born with gifts. But if we don't have someone ignite the spark within us and let us know that that talent can be realized, then we won't. But if we do, if we have people that are intentional with showing you that you can do and become whatever you want, then we will make that happen as well. And that is the goal of the Dream Seed program.
Such a beautiful vision, such an impact creating initiative that is already underway. So to all our audience, remember, inspire the young people in your life. It sits very nicely in our theme of inspiring the human spirit, igniting the passion and purpose that is innately inside of every soul, and influence them to truly live their purpose, live their dream. And in the process, let's build a world that is serving all of us, that is going to make us all feel happy and safe, and that's truly meaningful in building in America, the United States, and the global society that behooves all of us.
Thank you so much for having me on, Dr. Cass.
Thank you so much, Brian. It is such an honor.